All right. G'day, Narchi. How you going?
Hi, Pato. Good, thanks.
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries.
And well done on your run at Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, that was a surprising result, that's for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how long have you been running for anyway?
Yeah, coming at the end of this month, it'll be 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you get into it?
At the time, I was at the gym and a group of members were going to do Bridge to Brisbane 10K, and they invited me to come along. And I thought 10K would take us, a whole day to run. So I'm like, are you sure? And the manager said, oh, we'll do brunch after. So as soon as I heard food, I'm like, yep, I'm in. So we did the 10K, we ran, we walked, we took selfies at all the, um, check marks and things like that.
Yeah.
And it took us just over an hour and a quarter to do. So that was a surprise. It didn't take the whole day.
Yeah.
So after that, I said, oh, we'll do another one. River Run 100 was going to be on in about 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
And I said to them, look, I'll come, but I'm not going to hang out with you. I'm just going to see how fast, I can sort of do it. But during those 3 weeks, I Googled how to run 10Ks, and then you discover there's a whole world of running. So 10Ks sort of just was the baby run, and just all snowballed from there, really.
Yeah, cool. And so it didn't take you long after that to start taking it seriously then?
I trained a bit more, and somehow I discovered park runs. So then I did a couple of park runs, and then sort of hooked up with the group of runners, and they invited me to go on Saturday long runs with them. And yeah, it just went from there. And one of the men said, oh, you should get a coach, and all this. So yeah, I got a coach and started training for a marathon, which never ended up happening with the coach because I kept getting injured. So I gave up on that dream.
Yeah. I see you have run Gold Coast Marathon a couple years ago, and so how long did it take you to build up to running a marathon?
Yeah, so I probably shouldn't have run that one. I think it was 3 years in trying to get to the marathon, and I just kept getting stress fractures in my shins.
Right.
So I don't recover from the speed work too well. So I've stopped doing all kinds of speed.
Yeah.
I do tempos only, but yeah, so I was injured doing that marathon, and in 3 weeks I hadn't run at all, but thought, nah, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I've tried so hard and I keep failing. I'm just going to go run it and see what happens. Don't worry about the time. So I think I did 3 hours 53. Yeah. And from the second K, I was at my lactic threshold. So it was a horrible, horrible marathon.
So you used to get stress fractures, and you reckon that was from speed work?
Yeah. A lot of people, when you get stress fractures, they focus on nutrition and things like that. But I believe for me, it's speed work, because even now at the beginning of the year, I got carried away and I did speed work, and then my shin flared up. So I get a stress reaction before the fracture. So I just have to pull back and, just manage it and be careful. And 6 weeks and it heals and I can keep going. So no more speed work for me. I've learned now.
Yeah. Well, I guess backyard ultras are perfect then, because you don't have to run fast at all in them, do you?
No, that's right. And you don't even need to be in marathon peak fitness either to do them. So yeah they definitely work very well.
And did you used to play sports or anything like that when you were younger?
Yeah, I played tennis. So from the ages of about 9, I came to Australia when I was 8.5. So from about 9 till 14, I played tennis about 5 times a week. I used to play with Dad and then train as well, and then Friday, Saturday comps.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So that was and always at school, I used to make it into the sporting teams for the longer distances.
Yeah.
I couldn't run short. I was always the last one at the 100 meters, and 100 meters seemed so long.
Yeah. And with the tennis, did you used to like? Did you take it seriously and like were you like state ranked junior or anything like that?
I didn't go that far. I did a couple of tournaments where I won, and I was in pennant reserve ranking. So
Right.
we had pennant reserve, and then one, two, three, and all the way to seven. So I was up there.
Yeah.
I made it in the newspaper, local newspaper in '95 for winning a tournament. So yeah, but not like states or anything. I was at the cast, but I was having back issues, so we just sort of stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever go out and have a hit anymore?
No.
Is it correct that backyard ultras are the only ultras you've done so far?
Yeah, that's right. So last year was my year of building. I just said, you know what, don't worry about marathons. I'm not going to focus on speed or anything. I'm just going to do a big base and go from there. Um, and as my fitness increased, I ended up doing the Noosa marathon where I did just under 3:30 and then Gold Coast. But there was no pressure to go fast or to try really hard for them. It was just like, I'm just going to go out there and just run and see what I can do. But without having to take, a week or 2 weeks off because I'd already signed up for Clint Eastwood. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to run comfortably. But my focus was sort of Clint Eastwood because I've been watching, I've watched all his movies growing up and things like that. And I thought, oh, I better do one before old mate dies.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I guess what attracted you to running in a backyard ultra in the first place?
Yeah, I think it was 2021.
Mm.
I had been running at Oxley Creek Common for a while before the backyard ultras were there. Just coming back from stress fractures, my coach at the time said, "Oh, go to Oxley Creek. It's sort of softer than going on the roads, just to help with bones." And Nicole Jukes was there doing a backyard. So I had met her at a park run and I went and supported her for a bit. And I'm like, oh, this looks like fun torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said I remember saying to her, I'm going to do one of these, one day. But at the time, my focus was on the marathon. So it wasn't on the radar. But the thought of doing one day was there.
Yeah. And the first one you did was last year at Clint Eastwood and you did 34 yards. That's pretty good for your first one.
Yeah, no, I was pretty happy with that. Um, I regret stopping at 34, as you do.
Yeah.
So for the last 12 months, I was, when people ask me, oh, why'd you stop? I had so many excuses.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I didn't want to get injured because I'd just come back from injury and, um, my husband and family were there. So this year they weren't allowed to sort of come
Right.
because it just threw me out. My son had just bought a brand new motorbike and it was on the back of the car. And Yoni came, my husband, to watch me. And the poor kid just wanted to go riding his brand new bike, so
Yeah.
it kind of played on my mind
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah. So this time I said to them, don't come. And if you do come, it's because you want to be there. And yeah, so they abided by my rules.
Yeah. So when you finished at 34 last year, you felt like you still had like a bit left in the tank, did you?
Yeah, so I had blisters from the second lap
Right.
last year. Yeah. So I was just taking Panadol and it helped me deal with it. Um, but yeah, I pulled out because I just didn't want to get injured. But I came in the last lap, I think it was 52 minutes. So
Yeah.
I still had plenty of time up my sleeve. Just mentally, I wasn't prepared to go all the way.
Yeah.
But after talking to Nicole after it, she said, if you want to do well in one of these, you need to be willing to go the full 9 yards. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, 9 yards,
Um,
not.
you did mention the blisters, and I get from the photos, it looks like they've like you had blisters at the one you just did a few weeks ago as well. So have blisters always been an issue with you?
No. um, in the backyard, yes.
Right.
Yeah, so I need to sort that out and I will do a bit of research. And I did, like, after listening to obviously all your podcasts, people giving their advice, get bigger shoes and all that sort of stuff. So I went and got half a size shoe bigger and everything, but it looks like I need to go yet another half size up.
Right.
Because the reason why I did stop this year was my big toes. They sort of came off their nail bed, and yeah, that was just the pain was just too much to handle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't pretty.
Right. So before Clint Eastwood this year was your second backyard, because I remember seeing you at Dead Cow Gully and we had a bit of a chat the day before. And you were I got the impression you were pretty keen to go deep in that one.
Yeah, so at Dead Cow, in the 6 weeks leading up to it, I had a niggle in my shin. So I had run about 200 Ks in that 6 weeks. And then about 2 weeks before the Dead Cow, I didn't really run much. So, yeah, my fitness level, my preparation, I was well and truly underdone. But I thought, oh, let's see how much of this backyard ultra is physical compared to mental. So obviously it's physical, but mental is, like, to be honest, I was expecting something different from Dead Cow Gully. I didn't expect to be crossing the creeks, as many creeks per lap, and going down into the creek bed. And I think that's what ultimately sort of broke me. My IT band just seized up and pulled at my knee, and I was no longer able to weight bear on my left knee.
Right.
So Tim had to come pick me up halfway.
Right. Okay.
In the middle of the night.
And this was yeah, because I mean Dead Cow Gully is pretty flat, but there are those like little dips.
Pinches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they are pretty steep. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, when people say, oh, it's flat, and then you've got those, like, to me, it's like, oh, the steep down and up, and you're just kind of like, this isn't flat. And the first 2 Ks are on a slight incline. So I was complaining a little bit to people around me. I'm like, this isn't flat. So mentally, it was it was good mental practice for the Clint Eastwood that came through. Yeah.
And did that Dead Cow Gully provide you with any other lessons that helped you with Clint Eastwood as well?
Yeah, a bit. Just go slow, really. Yeah, just slowing down the laps, and trying to focus on, coming in at 55 minutes is okay still. You've still got plenty of time. The run walk was good, but then because normally I would run for the first 5 Ks and then walk it in, which I did do that at Clint Eastwood for the first day, and then changed it up a bit. But yeah, just don't be afraid of slow laps, really. Yeah.
So were the laps that you were running at Dead Cow Gully, were they slower? Were they in preparation for, was that like an experiment thing to run slower laps at Dead Cow Gully?
Yeah, I was doing them around about, I think, the 51-minute mark, 52, whereas last year at Clint Eastwood, I made the mistake of running with Ryan. So we were coming in, a lot faster, like under 45 minutes and all that sort of stuff, which was comfortable at the time. But if you are looking at doing or going for a long time, you can't be doing those laps. Doing a couple is okay, obviously, like, if you want to get a sleep or a bit more rest, but doing them consistently is something that I won't be doing.
Yeah. So Clint Eastwood, I haven't been there or run at that one, so I don't really know. I know the course is meant to be really flat, but apart from that, I don't really know much about it. So what can you tell me about the Clint Eastwood course?
Yeah, so the first 1.3 Ks are pretty flat. There are a few little, rises or whatever, but nothing to sort of write home about. Then it goes crosses, goes to a bridge, and that one has a little bit of a pinch. So then you walk that section. And then the rest of it's pretty much just flat. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And what's the surface like? Because it doesn't look like there's any concrete on it. Is that right?
There's only concrete at one of the bridges, but
Right.
the rest of it is just compact dirt with like gravel type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a good satellite champs course, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it looks like the facilities are pretty good as well. Like it's near a pretty, like it's near like a clubhouse kind of looking thing, is it?
Yeah, so there is there's a play like you say, like a clubhouse type thing. There are toilets, but they're like drop toilets.
Right.
There's no showers, but there are like Subway and Coles and things like that close by. So if you do run out of food, there's options there.
Yeah.
Yeah, close by. That's your crew can go while you're running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who did you have crewing for you at this one?
Rick. So I don't know if he knew what he was signing up for. Last year he volunteered to crew me. He's like, yeah, I'll come crew you. So now he's stuck.
Yeah.
But he might need a crew.
Right. So you only had the one person the whole time.
Yeah. There was Lauren that came in this year, I think just to bring him lunch or something. I'm not sure whether he had to sleep. I'm pretty sure he was there the whole entire time. So poor thing, he was up for 51 hours as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's unreal. So how much detail did you go into? Was it Rick? Was it Rick?
Yeah.
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 How much detail did you go into with Rick, as far as like a loop by loop race plan goes?
Well, after Dead Cow, Gabby put up a post that she has like a nutrition course coming up and things like that. So I did that with her for the last 3 months leading into Clint Eastwood. And so my plans were a little bit more detailed than last year.
Yeah.
Where each lap had a nutrition plan, whereas last time it was just him writing down what I was eating.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very organized. I have similar to Phil, like each lap has its own little target or whatever, but not as in time. So I don't have lap times because I'm too much of a numbers person and that would mess with me a bit too much. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, just nutrition and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So you mentioned you did the course with Gabby, and so did you feel like that nutrition was an area that you needed to work on? Like, had you had issues with the nutrition in the past before Clint?
Well, not really issues as such, but I did have, like, I remember last year at Clint Eastwood in the 26 or 27 hour, I had like a real low, like fatigue. I remember saying to Rick, I'm not tired that I want to sleep. I just have no energy. I feel drained. I feel so tired.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that this year. So that helped. I think, obviously the nutrition change. I think I was eating too much last year per lap because, you have to eat. Whereas this year, each lap, it didn't have as much food as what I was eating last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you respond to that energy low last year? Because you kept going. So did you?
Yeah, I just snapped out of it really. So, and I said to Rick, like, I don't want to stop. It's like, I'm just letting you know how I feel. I'm not stopping. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. But yeah, so I just keep going through it and just one foot in front of the other. And yeah.
And with Rick, did he have an understanding around pushing you out for one more loop and not letting you stop? Like, did you have a rule like, don't let me stop no matter what kind of thing?
Yeah, so we joke about it, I'm not stopping until I have a bone sticking out.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to do that because I'm there to find my limit and I won't stop until I've found like there's no stopping. You know what I mean? Like he has never had to go, okay, just do one more lap. I will not stop until I have no more running meters left in me. So yeah.
So you're pretty strong in the mind. Like you never, he never has to drag you out of your chair and put you back in the stage or anything like that.
No, definitely not.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, to go far into backyard ultra, I mean, there's so many different things you need to get right and stay on top of, like nutrition, sleep, mindset, pacing. But leading into Clint Eastwood, what were you most mindful like about getting right to go to have a good race?
I did a bit of like run specific or training. So where I did 6 or 7 loops around my place, or I'll go to Rockley, because it's not far from me. It's about half an hour. So I'll go there and do a couple of laps, just getting kilometers in my legs and time on feet. That was the main purpose of this year's Gold Coast Marathon, because I wasn't up to running a sub 3:30. So I thought, well, I'll just run it. I got a cheap entry, so I just ran it for time on feet, really. And I think that's pretty important rather than pace, because like you say, you don't need to run fast. You just need to have that resistance of time on feet.
Yeah. And what was your mindset like leading into the race? Were you like feeling really good?
Yeah, I was pretty confident. At the beginning of the year, I sort of said, oh, I'll be going to Perth in October.
Oh,
aiming for 110 laps, because
yes.
the world record's 109, so I'm going to do 110.
Yeah.
Always aim high and, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I got my bib this year, it was number 60. It was bib number 60. So I thought, oh, I'll just aim for 60, see how we go. Wouldn't it be great to run your bib number?
Yeah, awesome. So you mentioned the Sat Champs. Running at the Sat Champs, has that really like been one of your a big goal for you?
My main goal for the Backyard Ultra is finding the limit.
Yeah.
So I've said to a few friends, I never want to win one of these. They said, oh, you can go and get a silver ticket. It's like, well, that's not the purpose of me entering a Backyard Ultra. It's to find my limit on that day at that, fitness level. I would be, very, very upset if I win a Backyard Ultra, because then you don't, to me, the winner is really the ultimate loser, because they're the ones that don't reach their peak, whereas everybody else has won because they go there to find their limit and they have found their limit. So, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people I speak to find the first 24 hours of a Backyard Ultra the hardest, mentally the hardest. So how was the first 24 hours for you at Clint Eastwood this year?
I think because I've only just done 3 Backyard Ultras, I don't have that issue of the first 24 hours being hard or being bored or whatever. Yeah, to me, this 24 hours at Clint Eastwood were a bit of a blur.
Right.
I don't remember much of it, to be honest. I know I ran most of it by myself. But yeah, I honestly don't have, I don't get that low. I didn't, because it's I've only done 3.
Yeah, yeah. So that first 24 hours was pretty cruisy. There were no obstacles you had to overcome or anything like that?
Yeah, no, the blisters behaved like they didn't come until later on, which I was happy for. It's like, oh, yay. We're 2 laps down and we don't have blisters yet. So I was happy about that. I did wear toe socks this year, whereas last year I didn't. And I taped all my problem toes that I thought might help. But yeah, that didn't help 100%. But anyway, right. And I'll get it right next year.
Yeah. Did you find wearing toe socks did help somewhat?
Yeah, I think they did, definitely. Yep. So I'll be doing that next year again, and bigger shoes and maybe prepping my toes a bit differently. I'll just have to do a bit more research in that.
Yeah, sure. So physically, when did you start feeling discomfort or pain during the race?
Um, I was surprised. I didn't find it difficult at all. Like even the whole up to the 50 hours, I found it not easy but comfortable. I didn't have any pains anywhere. I was actually quite surprised. It was just the toes and
Yeah.
the blisters, but apart from that, everything else felt fine. And that's why I know once I get that sorted, I will be able to go further.
Yeah, unreal. So, did the pain in your toes, did that get worse and worse as the race went on, or was it just kind of like you just couldn't handle it anymore because it just been going for too long?
Yeah, lap 51 was, I just feel so sorry for James and Ryan and anyone else that was on that course. It was very messy,
Right.
emotionally messy, for about half of the lap. And then everything calmed down. And I thought, oh, excellent. I've had my cry, I've had my hyperventilation. We're good to go. And then I went out on lap 52. I had a sleep even at the end of lap 51. So I was quite happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lap 52, I got quarter of the way through and there was no more running meters left. I just couldn't physically bring myself to take that running step.
Yeah.
I was okay to walk, but just the pain was just, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So on that 51st lap, right, you were with Ryan and James, and were they helping you get through that lap, were they?
No. So when Dwayne finished up on loop 49,
Yeah.
James asked to go, oh, do you want to run with us? And because I learnt my lesson from last year, I politely declined. Yeah. They were only about 300 meters ahead of me during the lap, but just the back end of it, they kept running where I was walking a little bit more. But I didn't want to push, like I didn't want to push to stay with them, because I still felt fine. So I didn't want to, I just wanted to continue doing my own thing, really. So no, they weren't running together, but because the course sort of laps goes out and back, they could see me. So we crossed paths a few times during the lap.
I see.
Yeah.
And what was the weather like? It looked pretty warm, but I mean, it's always warm in Queensland though, isn't it?
We get to negatives, so not always warm. But it was overcast for me for the 51 hours that I was there. Most of it was overcast. We had a bit of rain on the fourth lap where I changed my shoes, but it was just like a bit of spitting. Then I went back to my original pairs of shoes. The first night was colder than the second night. The second night I only took gloves and I still had my singlet and shorts, whereas the first night I had a long sleeve, gloves, and just a Solomon jacket, like a windproof jacket, just to help with the dew and that. But yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. So you made it to the second night, and that must have been around the 34-hour mark. Is that right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So when did you start like allowing yourself to look ahead and think about the Australian record, things like that?
I didn't really think, because my aim is not to break records or, so I just sort of just kept going.
Yeah.
The best thing that happened is teaming up with Dwayne. On about lap 27, Tammy Wickham, she had a bit of an injury in her shin, and I slowed down to help her. Dwayne was already helping her get through. She wanted to get to 30 laps, and she had to dig deep. Oh my gosh, I don't know how she kept it together. I would have been crying like a sook. So once she finished at lap 30, which was her PB as well, I said to Dwayne, well, it's just you and I, you're stuck with me now. So I jumped on board with his run walk strategy. And that kind of was the first time it just felt easy. It just it was a easy run walk. So yeah, it was great that I teamed up with him. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, cool. And were people out there reminding you that you're getting close to the Australian record? Were people bringing it up?
Not that I'm aware of. I know Dwayne wanted to do 48 hours, because to run for 2 days, it's great, and things like that. And I said, well, you got to get me there, I'll hang
Yeah,
out with you. And we had a bit of mental struggles, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go the whole way, don't worry about the 48. We're just going to keep on running until we can't run anymore. So
right.
it was great, because I was a bit scared that once he left, I wouldn't be able to continue,
Mm,
because once your teammate's gone, you kind of feel all alone in that.
yeah,
So but I was still able to maintain the laps and um, maintain the run walk where he'd set to run and walk. So yeah, it was good. Yeah.
and what did end it for Dwayne?
He too had a foot issue, so yeah, he had too much pain in his foot. So he had enough, but he was happy that he finished his foot. He got his goal 48. That was a massive PB for him as well. I think his previous was 31.
Right.
So yeah. So he was very happy with that. And each time that he sort of thought maybe I shouldn't have, he said he looked down at his foot and he's like, yeah, I'm glad I did.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
foot
40.
reminded him there was no more.
Yeah, 48's unreal. Like 48's
Oh,
enough to get you on most countries, right up near the top of most countries' Sat Champs team.
that's right. Yeah, we're just blessed to be in Australia where the men are really good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so how hard? Well, was night two harder or easier than night one?
It wasn't too bad because we had each other, keeping company. So it wasn't I enjoy running at night because it's cooler. I like running in the cold, the heat, not so much. So yeah, I do look forwards to the night runs. I was surprised actually that I didn't get any hallucinations.
Right.
Yeah, last year at Clint Eastwood, and the first night didn't make a second one. First night, I had a bit of, I looked at a weed and it looked like green tree snake heads in a flower.
Oh, yeah,
So I was making things up out of stuff. So this year I didn't have that. So I was quite surprised, maybe because the nutrition was right and the hydrolyte salt balance was there. So
yeah,
yeah, it was good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was going to say it's probably because of like a better nutrition plan.
Yeah, definitely. I think that helped a lot.
Yeah. And what was it like running through the 40s? It sounds like you were in a pretty good rhythm.
Yeah, Dwayne's run walk technique program that he had going, it kept me occupied because I was the one saying, 200 to go, 100 to go until we walked. So
Yeah.
then we'd walk and then it's like, okay, well, 20 meters and then we were running and, 10 meters. And, it just kept me occupied of numbers. So because I'm a numbers person, I was just loving it.
Yeah, 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 unreal. And what time were you getting in on your loops with this run walk strategy?
Yep. So we were doing around about the 53-ish to 55. Yeah. So it was, plenty of time. And even when he finished, I was still coming in around about that time. So I think my last loop 51, oh, it was funny. Like I was crying and hyperventilating, and I looked down at my watch and I'm doing 6 minute 30 pace.
Right, yeah.
And then I'm laughing at myself because, you're like in extreme pain, you're like crying, you're hyperventilating, and you're doing 6 minute 30 pace. So then I went to the opposite, just laughing at myself. And I think everything settled after that. It's like, you're okay, everything's fine.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
so were there any stages late in the race where you unexpectedly just felt like awesome and it felt like running felt effortless?
Yeah, I think once I teamed up with Dwayne, it felt easy. It's
Mm,
like, this is actually like we're coming in at a reasonable time and I'm not I didn't feel like I was putting a lot of effort in to come in at that time. So I knew that, yeah, this is a good strategy. We're going to stick to it. We tried changing it up a little bit, but then we're like, yeah, that's not going to work. So we went back to the original run walk strategy that he had. Yeah.
Yeah. And so after loop 48, there was just you, the three of you. It was you, Ryan Crawford, and James Blanton. So what was it like running? I mean, they're two of the very best like backyard ultra runners in the game. So what was it like running with them?
Yeah, I'd run with Ryan last year,
Yeah.
most of the laps together, and so this year, it wasn't as, oh my gosh, I'm running with Ryan. Whereas last year I was, starstruck.
Yeah, yeah,
This year was like, nah, I've been there, done that.
yeah, yeah,
No, but they're lovely blokes, and yeah, they were doing their own lap time, and I just stuck to my own time and my own abilities. Yeah, I've learnt.
yeah. So just being out there with just the two of them, did you pick up any insights into what makes them tick while you're out there?
Not so much what makes them tick, just like, their sheer strength or mental strength, really.
Yeah,
Both of them had come across a few challenges in the first day, even.
right.
And yeah, just to push through and then just continue and just ride it out, really. Yeah, that's something that I hope to do as well next
Yeah,
time.
yeah, unreal.
Suck it up a bit.
Yeah, um, yeah. Because I mean, Ryan and James, I mean, they seem to be on another level as far as being able to just keep running through their issues and discomfort goes. Um, but to you, did it seem like at around the 51-hour mark, did it seem like they were running through discomfort and pain, or they hadn't actually reached that level yet?
No, I think they'd gone through their issue already by that stage, and they were just, yeah, the usual chatting and carrying on like they
Right.
normally do. Meanwhile, I was dying.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so in the end, it was the blisters that got you. What did your feet look like at the end?
Yeah, so the blisters I can sort of handle. It was the toenails lifting off their nail beds that was just, yeah, next level for me. And that comes down to the shoes. Really, I could feel my toes hitting the end of the shoe,
Yeah,
which, once you've already gone up half a size and you've got your shoes in that half a size and don't have any more bigger shoes, I couldn't do anything about it. So I just kept the same shoes and just dealt with it for as long as I could.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I would definitely lose my big toes, by my big toenails, not the
yeah,
toes.
yeah. So they were the two toenails affected. Were there other toenails affected as well, or just the two big?
No, just the two big ones. Yeah. So they don't usually have the issue. So I was surprised that, yeah, it's normally the second from the big toe because it's a bit
Yeah,
longer. But yeah, this time it was the big toes that copped a beating, and yeah, we'll sort that out.
yeah. And around what stage of the race did you feel it happen? Like, was there a stage where you just felt it happen, or was it like a gradual thing?
Yeah, so it was just gradual. Yeah. I could feel blisters popping while I was running, and I'm like, well, I can't do anything about that, once they come, they come. I did on my right side, I did take my shoe off and we gave it a bit of a wash and that, but that, yeah, I popped the blisters, I bandaged them back up and then just left it. It's like I can't do anything else than that, really. Once they're there, it's you
Yeah,
need to try to avoid them, really, I think, rather than having to deal with them. So I'll
yeah,
have to sort out how I can avoid them.
yeah, sure. Um, have you thought of ways you're gonna like battle that issue next race? Like, are you gonna go up even a bigger size shoe or anything like that?
Yes, I'll go up a bigger size shoe, and then I think there's online someone who's actually studied blisters and that, so I'll get in contact with them and get their opinion and advice. I'm
Yeah.
just one of those, I'm a laser focused person. Like if I've got a hobby or something, I'll learn all about it and then just, um, I give myself the best, I don't know, advantage or to do well. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, was there any sudden? So it sounds like it was a sudden ending rather than a gradual thing. Like, were you like, did it come out of nowhere stopping? Because it sounds like you thought you were going to keep going longer than 51.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like at 50, I was still fine. Like, yeah, I was sore, like, as you are. But I could still handle the pain and everything. But yeah, that lap 51 just really um it's just like everything just fell apart, really.
Yeah,
My system just didn't want to deal with the pain anymore. And but I'd calmed down. So I was surprised that I stopped at 52 or like, halfway through 52. Like I thought, oh, yeah, I've had my low. And, everyone talks about how, you have your low in the backyard and then you perk back up. And I thought, yes, we're through it. We've had the low. I've had my sleep. I'm ready to keep going. But yeah, once I got, quarter of the way through, I was just like, yeah, my body was done.
yeah, fair enough. And it looks like when you did mention the Sat Champs team, it looks like if you did go one more and do 52, you probably would have got on the team. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I don't think knowing that would have helped.
Right.
Because, yeah, like I said, I'm there to find my limit.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been able to push, like, I know I wouldn't have been able to push through that 52 yard
Mm.
um, at the time. Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm satisfied of where I finished. I don't have that, oh, maybe if I did this or could I have gone more? Like I know I physically could not have gone more. So yeah, yeah. And that's how I'm going to end all my backyard ultras. Not pull out because I'm scared of a injury.
Yeah, sure.
Because
Um,
it's been a terrible last 12 months.
um, so what would you say makes you so good at backyard ultras?
Stubbornness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty focused and stubborn, and yeah, I'm always like in everything in life, I've always done things where I want to find my limit. Like even in before running, I used to go to the gym, so I'd always push myself to see, like, how much weight can I lift, or where's my limit, and how, yeah. So I've always been like that. That laser focus, extreme, the extreme person. So this is no different.
Yeah, cool. Um, so most people who run in backyard ultras will either I find most of them will keep improving on their PB, or they'll pretty consistently run around their PB. So, I mean, it sounds like you're going to keep on improving to me, but have you thought about what races you're going to do over the next year or so?
I don't have anything planned just yet. I'm still waiting for the feeling in my feet to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still can't feel my feet.
Wow.
It's been over a week. Yeah, it'll come. I remember last year at the end of Clint Eastwood. Um, I did some nerve damage on my feet because obviously you don't never run that far.
Right.
Um, and I'd asked Nicole, I said, I can't feel my soles of my feet. And she says, oh, that's normal. It'll come back.
Yeah.
So this time I'm like, it'll come back. Just got to wait for it, really.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't have anything on the calendar just yet. I think I'd like to do a point-to-point ultra,
Mm.
um, like one that doesn't have many turns because I do get lost in my backyard.
Yeah.
I'm directionally challenged.
Right.
So if I can get one where there's not many ways of, getting lost, then I'll probably end up doing one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Now, so it was so that 51 yards puts you right on the cusp of the Australian team. Well, I know that I'm pretty sure three runners would have to decline their spots for you to get on the team? I know that two have declined their spot, so you only need one more person to decline their spot for whatever reason. So if that did happen, would you take it up and go to Perth and run?
Well, I've just been talking to Gabby last night. Actually, we had a meeting, and I've had someone volunteer to help me out if I do end up going to Perth. So that's handy. I guess we'll see what happens, see if anyone does drop. If not, I'll just, yeah, wait it out.
Yeah,
I will train once I get, you know, back to running. I'll train and get my fitness back up and see what happens. Yeah, I'm not, I won't be 100% disappointed if I don't make it, but yeah, it is what it is, you know. I reached
yeah,
my limit. That was the goal.
yeah, sure. But like, if it happens, you will go.
Yeah, I think I would go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, so that 51 yards, it means you would get free entry into Dead Cow Gully next year as well. So do you reckon you'll go back to Dead Cow Gully?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about doing the BVRT,
Oh
which
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's on the same weekend as the Dead Cow Gully.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I would like to do the Clint Eastwood next year again because I've got a little bit of a team. We're assembling a bit of a team next year.
Yeah,
So
cool.
if I do Masters in June to back up Clint Eastwood in August, it probably wouldn't work so well.
Yeah.
If I do end up doing Dead Cow or Masters, it would only be a like as a training run rather than go all in.
Mm.
Um, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, BVRT, that would be a nice straight one, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory as to where to go.
Yeah. And would you do 100 or 200 miles?
Good question.
Uh,
I don't know yet. It all depends on, yeah, I suppose how my training is going for the year,
yeah.
as to if I'm going to do 100 or 200. I did sign up this year for the 50 mile, but didn't end up doing it because of the injury that I'd picked up from, or the niggle from Dead Cow. Like my knee, I just couldn't train for 2 weeks, and then I got sick for another 2 weeks. So I've had a bit of a turbulent lead into Clint Eastwood even. So I think I managed only about 6 weeks worth of training, like proper training,
Yeah.
before the event. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many well, what are your weeks like leading into a backyard ultra? How many Ks do you like doing a week? Yeah, as a preparation.
As many as I can fit in.
Yeah.
I do enjoy running, and I enjoy running like yeah, easy and general aerobic runs. So leading into Clint Eastwood, I was doing about I think 15 to 20 Ks every day, and then 3 days where it was longer than that, 25 to I think I got up to I did a like 7 hour practice. So I think that's what 48 Ks or something.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so around about the 150-ish kilometers
Yeah.
is what I got to. I have like last year before Clint Eastwood, I got up higher. I feel like I was fitter last year for Clint Eastwood than what I was this year, but it doesn't, yeah, correlate. Fitness doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in supreme fitness.
Mm. And when you do your just like practice runs, say 7 hours, for example, is that just to get time on feet, or do you practice nutrition and things like that?
Yeah, so I'll do time on feet and nutrition, definitely.
Yeah.
Just practice, see how it's going, see if I like it. If any, like I did one where, what I had pizza shapes on one of the laps, and then they just kept reoccurring for the next 3 hours or so. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing this. So
Right.
yeah, you have to fine tune it.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I thought I had it pretty down pat this year. So yeah.
Like, so how many different things did you eat? Like, what was some of your favorite things to eat this year?
Cream rice.
Creamed rice, yeah.
Yeah, so just from the fresh food aisle, like the fridge aisle, you can
Yeah.
buy the little tubs of creamed rice. I've tried the canned stuff. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I like the more fresh stuff. And I bought the Milo yogurt pouch squeeze things. They were pretty good too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely cream rice. Yum.
Right. And with the creamed rice, did you have to warm it up or did you just eat it like it
No,
cold?
I just had a cold. Yeah, just cold. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And it comes already cooked? Or is
Yeah, just in a little tub, like a yogurt tub, really.
oh,
So yeah, they're just individually packed. So I was having half a creamed rice on one of the laps, for example, and plus the nutrition on during the lap. So I was alternating between water and infinite, and then I'd take a snack on the lap as well. And then when I got back to the gazebo, that's where I'd have some creamed rice or
hmm.
my other food.
Yeah, cool. Now you did mention that you slept after 50, I think it was after 50
51.
you slept.
Yeah, right at the end.
Yeah. Was that the first time you slept or how did you sleep other times as well?
Yeah, so the way I've got my gazebo set up is I've got like the usual recliner chair, but also a bed.
Hmm.
So after like the first afternoon, I think it was around about 4 o'clock or something, I had my first lay down.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I just after that I don't use a chair anymore, really. I just come back in and just lay down on every single lap. So whether it's day or night, I just lie down and close my eyes and just rest. If I fall asleep, I do. Well, I don't. I haven't. But if I do, I do. If not, then I've had my rest. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you take caffeine during the races as well?
Yes, I was taking some coffee, like caffeine gels.
Yeah.
I use the Coda because it's got a higher caffeine than the other ones.
Okay.
And I had a coffee on Saturday morning, but I think I only had 2 sips.
Right.
And that was it. Yeah. So not too much, but yeah, I don't have like an actual set plan of,
Right.
although they were there, I
Yeah.
didn't take them when they were so-called due to have a caffeine. I was like, oh, I feel fine and I'm not going to have a coffee gel now. So I had just a normal one.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Now I know it's pretty close, but Sydney's Backyard Ultra have a $10,000 prize for first male and first female. So, were you tempted, or are you tempted to do that one?
Actually, I had it on my radar before they had the like last
All
year,
right.
even after Clint Eastwood. I thought, oh, because it's close. I can drive there rather than have to fly.
Yeah.
So then I can take all my things. But yeah, I think honestly, if I had the opportunity to run for Australia and decline to go to run at Sydney and not win, I think it'd look a little bit silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if I like say if I did and I did win, I wouldn't stop after winning the female section because I'd be there to find my limit. I wouldn't be there to like the money would be the cherry on top rather than the main focus.
Yeah. 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 So, like, I mean, if you were last female and there were, say, like 2 or 3 guys left, you'd try and you just keep going.
Yeah, you just keep
Yeah.
going until you find your limit on that day. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the money would be nice too.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about the male and female prize money thing is because if someone does win their gender's prize money, it gives them a reason to stop. A lot of people might not keep going once they win the prize money.
Yeah, but I also think that it's good to have recognition for the females because there is a bit of actually a bit there is a massive disconnect between the males and females records,
Yeah.
like in nationally and internationally.
Hmm.
So it is nice to have to encourage more females to participate in the event.
Yeah.
So I think that if you want to get more females in, you need to give us a reason to
Yeah.
participate rather than pin us against men.
Yeah, yeah. Is that something you've thought about much? Like, have you got like what do you think needs to be done to increase female participation in backyard ultras?
I think it would be nice, like, in the such, I understand that in Tennessee, there's not enough room to do a females team or to have more tickets for females.
Right.
But during the SAT champs, I think, if there were 5 tickets for females only and then have us run alongside men, and when you're the last female, you can still continue if the men are still going, have 20 runners on, or stick to the 15 and then have 5 entries for females. Um, yeah, I think that would be nice to see. And then that way it gives you a incentive to try your very best to make the Australian team, knowing that there's 5 chances of getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about just things like more portable toilets on courses and things like that? Because I reckon that's a bit of a disadvantage for females. Is like because guys can just stop and go anywhere, but girls kind of like need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I think once you get deep enough into an ultra,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, I don't think the boys care really, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Like, they've got to do it, we have to do it too, We're
yeah,
not, yeah, we're all human.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you might know that I like getting my guests 3 backyard ultra tips. So what are your 3 backyard ultra tips?
Oh dear. Well, from the least experience that I've had, um, my thing is what I do is believe in yourself, believe that you can do hard things. And, you don't need to be a pro ultra runner or have run ultra marathons for years and years to give a backyard ultra a try. You just don't know what you've got in you until you've had a go.
Mm,
Um, what else is there? Oh, shoes and socks.
yeah,
Definitely get that one sorted. So, yeah, if you have the right shoes and socks, then, like for me, that'll get you going. And the last one, um, oh, fitness. You don't have to be, you know, at your peak fitness. Like you don't have to be at a um, marathon peak fitness in order to do well at a backyard ultra. Because
mm,
like now, like going into Clint Eastwood, I wasn't at a sub 3:30 marathon condition, but yet I was still able to do 51 yards. So yeah, just have a go.
yeah, yeah. That's unreal. So what shoes have you been wearing at backyard or at well, what did you wear at Clint?
Last year I had the Nike Invincibles because they're nice and soft and cushiony. This year at Dead Cow Gully I had the Tarkine.
Right.
And this year at Clint Eastwood I had the Asics Super Blast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I change between shoes a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not loyal to one brand yet.
Right.
If anyone wants to give me shoes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just buy them when they're on special.
So don't have a plan as to how you're going to combat the toe thing with new shoes or anything like that. You haven't.
I haven't selected a shoe yet, no, but definitely go up a size, yeah, and find out from the experts on blisters.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Let me know how you go with that as well, because I'd be interested to hear.
Do
Because
you wear blisters as well?
there's one toe that this thing that happens with you happens like the toenail becomes detached from the toe, so it's kind of
Yeah,
just like floating there, and
yeah,
it really hurts. Like
yes, it
yeah,
does.
yeah. And then like it's kind of like all puffed up, blistery around it as well. So
Yeah,
it sounds like
yeah.
it's exactly what's happened with you, but it only happens with one toe, and it happened, and I think it happens with that toe because at Dead Cow Gully when I was there for the Masters, I stubbed it really really bad, and it
Yeah.
actually deattached when I stubbed it. And ever since then, whenever I do a long run, so whenever I do a backyard ultra, it
Yeah.
deattaches itself, and then
Oh,
it falls off and grows back, and then deattaches itself again.
again. Oh, so it has like it's stuck in like a rut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Might have to just take it off completely.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's when it's the best. When it's not there, like when it just falls off, that's the best.
Yeah, yeah, because it won't. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your run and breaking the Australian record. That's
Thank you.
unreal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like,
Are you coming to Clint Eastwood next year, right?
oh, well, I haven't really thought that far ahead, but I mean, it's definitely not a no. I might.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might.
Well, come join our team.
Yeah, yeah. I'll, yeah, I would love
I,
to come to it.
yeah, I don't think Ryan and James are going to end up coming because they've got masters in June, so it'll be too much of or
Oh,
too soon, and then they'll be at Tennessee in October. So
as well, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we'll see how many laps get done next year. Hopefully,
Yeah,
someone else shows up.
yeah. Well, it sounds like the perfect course to be able to like do a high number. Like, a lot of runners, like, there was quite a few who made it to 48, I think. How many made it to 48? I know Dwayne did. There might have been one or two others.
I think there was five of us actually. Jalna, she also broke the Australian female record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unreal. All right. Well, yeah, hopefully it's not too long till you can start running again.
Yeah, that would be nice. I hopped on the stationary bike this morning, so starting to get work on some kind of cardio.
Yeah, yeah. And oh, I need to ask this. Did you celebrate in any way the run? Like, what did you do to celebrate?
I had to sleep.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I just, yeah, back to life.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, thanks heaps for coming on.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
yeah, no worries. Congratulations again. And yeah, hopefully I'll bump into you at a race sometime next year.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah, and yeah, if you do make it to the Sat Champs, I'll see you there because I'll be there doing the live stream. So that would be cool.
Oh, perfect. That
Mm,
would be nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Time will
Well, yeah.
tell.
Congratulations again, and yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
See ya.